Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zielinski and I work in the spirit dimensions. I've been receiving some great questions and comments here on the channel. Thank you very much for reaching out. I am doing my best to keep up on your questions, and thank you very much for your patience. One thing that comes up quite a bit in a form of a question or a comment is the work that I do and the different layers to all that work. So I thought I would do a video and just kind of address some of it and have a little chit chat with you guys and give you a little bit more of an insight on exactly who I am and what I do. It is layered. You know, it started off with the mediumship, and there are some videos on this channel regarding the mediumship and how that kind of evolved and my experience with my own death, not once but twice. You're welcome to go back and have a listen. It is an interesting story. And the mediumship and the dead people is a big part of what I do, and it's also a big part of my heart. I love dead people. I love helping living people through dead people and giving some closure and working through some grief and having an understanding that we're here on our journey, and when we die, it's not the end. I also, with my mediumship, have been helping spirit, being able to communicate with spirit who are visiting here for specific reasons, spirit who have not crossed over yet, and kind of understanding them and being a little bit of a counselor to them and helping them heal as well. And that work kind of took me back by surprise a little bit when spirit said to me, get out on adventures and talk to souls who are either stuck here or who are trying to heal and trying to give messages to people who are still in the physical world. And even though they may not be trapped or stuck in the physical world, they're working very hard for some healing. And I kind of leaned into that with spirit, and I thought, you know, it's a big topic, and around that topic does come a bit of stigma, if you will, from physical world vibrations on, you know, is this a mental health issue? Is, you know, Lana, are you sure you're okay? And I have had to kind of sit with that a little bit on how to handle it, because yeah, there is some stigmatism there with mediumship and, you know, the work that I do on, you know, what if she's crazy? And I have kind of leaned into that with trying to bridge the gap with my mentoring students, with sharing how spirit works here on YouTube, with really digging my heels in being that voice and getting out there. And it's brought me a lot of learning, and it's brought me a lot of healing, and it's brought me to a stronger place within the spirit dimensions. I also do work with the angelics. I do a lot of angel and guide communication. A lot of people call that side of what I do psychic. And, you know, I've said this before on the channel, I'm not a big fan of the word psychic, but I do prefer angelic communication and seeing what your spirit guides and your guardian angels and your spirit council has to say. That's where I get that information. When people come to me for a session for the intuitive stuff, I tap into what the angelics, your spirit council, what the spirit dimensions have to say, and I bring it forward. And that is also such a glorious part of what I do. Past life regressions, this journey of the soul. It's an incredible experience to be in that vibration as well, and being able to do that work, helping people understand their journey and their past lives and some of the issues that they have brought forward as well. Motivational speaking. I love to do motivational speaking in talking about how to overcome things, about mindfulness, about meditation, and sharing that and giving people other options to cope. Quite often in the physical world, we struggle with finding new ways of coping with stress, coping with anxiety, coping with depression. And Spirit has said to me, help close that gap as well. Help close the gap that, you know, that two worlds have to be separate. The medical world and the spiritual world should be able to work together in helping people. It's collective. And I've been working really hard on bridging that gap, getting out there and talking to medical professionals, talking with teachers, talking with mental health workers, in kind of bringing it all in together. And that has been some delicious and wonderful work. Animal communication. It has been expanding and expanding and expanding. I started off with animal communication, which just simply doing it on my own, being able to hear animals and communicate and do some healing work. And then that kind of erupted like a volcano. And it's taken me in some amazing, amazing adventures, bringing forward great healing, both talking to animals living and working on healing and working on having their needs understood and helping their relationships with their human owners and building that bond as well. And also communicating with animals who've passed. Animals have souls and they do communicate just like a soul who had a human experience. They communicate the exact same way for me. They just feel a little bit different when they're communicating. Now, when an animal soul returns back to the spirit dimension, it returns the same way as a soul who had a human experience. They just communicate with me as they were in the physical world, as an animal or as a human. And that soul may come back as another animal, or it may come back having a human experience. And the animal communication has brought me a lot of learning and a lot of love and a lot of light. Now, my mentoring, I do teach mediumship and animal communication. I do teach the angelic realms. I do teach healing. I do a form of healing that I bring in from the spirit dimensions. I surrender myself. I surrender and I allow the healings from the angelics, from the spirit dimensions to come forward and come through me to help our physical bodies, our mental well-being. I allow that healing to come through me and do healing sessions. That is what the healing work that I do. And yeah, it can be done remotely. Healing does not have to be in person. I do have a space that I have recently opened for in-person. So the in-person stuff has been back, but I really find that the work itself, it doesn't have to be in person. I'm not feeling a difference. And why? Because it's all vibration. It's all vibration. Do I love meeting people in person? There is an element to that. Yeah, it does feel different to meet people in person. We all know that. But the healing work with spirit doesn't need me to be in front of people. And that's been a very interesting journey as well. It's because we are all energy. There are no boundaries. There's no ceiling or walls with spirit. They work through all that. It's irrelevant to them. And that's been a very interesting perspective and part of my growth as well. The other thing with working with spirit and with all these different modalities is sometimes they get pulled together. Sometimes I'm doing multiple things at once. And how do I do that? I kind of go into trance states. When I'm working with spirit, I surrender. My trust level is so high that I surrender to all my own thoughts, all my own needs and desires, and I simply allow. And how did I get there? It was a journey. It has been a journey of learning and growth. It's been a journey of allowing. And I would say the last couple of years, really standing in my truth is what got me there. I've learned to trust spirit more than I trust the physical world. And I trust the physical world. I just trust the spirit dimensions to guide me as to exactly where I need to go. And I've also learned not to put myself in a box. I took myself out of a box a long time ago with just being this or working this way, or doing these things. It's simply about showing up for me. I just show up and see what happens with spirit, and I'm not afraid to learn and grow. Have I had bumps on my road? Yep. And some of you guys have seen me go through that with, oh my gosh, somebody said that somebody said that about me, or oh my goodness, this. I've had to learn to completely surrender all of it. And it is a work in progress, and we all are. And that's one thing I say to people all the time. People want to develop. Keep at it. The more we open to spirit, the more we get. It wasn't that long ago. I didn't think I would ever do animal communication. And then I just simply allowed it. The more that I allowed, the more expansive my connection with the spirit dimensions have become. And each and every one of you with some practice and some work and perhaps a little bit of mentoring and some reading and picking up what resonates and leaving the rest, feeling energy. How do things feel for you? The more you open, the more that comes. And that is as simple as it gets. It's about allowing. It's about putting down fears. It's about stepping in and say, I'm going to try this and see where it goes. Not everything has to resonate to you. I am always saying to spirit, I am here to learn. I am here to teach. I am here to help. And I don't want limitations is a better word. I don't want to limit myself with words like just or only. It's all of me, and there's so much to learn, and that's the kind of the vibration that I stay in. If you're interested in learning a bit more of some of my teachings, keep an eye on my website. I do post some Zoom teaching sessions and opportunities. Sometimes I post recommendations on books to read here on the channel or on my Facebook page. I have an angelic 3-day workshop coming up on Zoom on the website. If you're interested, have a look. And I also have an introduction to spirituality on the website as well. And if any of that resonates with you and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at thehawkandI@gmail.com. And if there's any topics, keep them coming. If you want me to talk about new things or you have questions, keep them coming, because we all journey together. I am wishing you so much love, light, blessings, and as always, a spirit-guided day.